After hiding for so long, he's finally here. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we finally have it. We have the details for the INT LR Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose EZA. This is the 5th year EZA, following the Dokkan Festival LR EZAs for the 5th year. So this is a really kind of I don't want to say out of nowhere, but like to have this EZA so soon is quite astonishing considering how many other LR EZAs we still have left to go. But nonetheless, it's here and we are excited. So the question is, did they learn from the TUR? Thanks to the Dokkan Wiki, we went ahead and got the info. So let's take a look and let's see if we can give an honest assessment of this unit. I would like to forewarn you that we're just going to take a look here. We'll kind of give a quick thought at what we see, but really we're going to give our final judgment on the character once we have him in game and we've tested him out. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the translations here. Shout out to the Dokkan Wiki for these. We got Future Saga category key 4 HP attack and defense 150%, and in types key 4 HP attack and defense 100%. To be expected, yellow coin LR EZA, it's going to go up to 150, though you're probably not using this guy for leader skill in anywhere except for battlefield, so it's not that big of a deal. On his 12 key, he's greatly raising defense for 1 turn. He's causing colossal damage to the enemy, greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn on his 18 key, and causing mega colossal to the enemy. He also has obviously a stunning effect on his 12 key, as he did before. He also has in his passive key 3 attack and defense 160%. He has an additional attack and defense 8% each time his key rises by 1, up to 160. So he kind of kept the whole key mechanic he had going on, just upped it a little bit. He gets key 3 whenever key is 18 or more, so that adds to that 160, right? He launches an additional super attack when key is 22 or more. He gets key 6 and a high chance of performing a critical hit for the rest of battle after delivering the final blow. So he maintained the final blow mechanic, which we assumed he was going to get. He recovers 6% when HP is 66% or above, and recovers 6% at the end of turn when he receives an attack. So no surprises there. We anticipated him to maintain the final blow mechanic. However, the nice thing is it doesn't lock too much behind it, right? Permanently raising his key by 6, I mean, is great, but you're not losing much, because consider you might also be running support here, so you could very easily make up that difference through a support character, especially on Zamasa's team. Like, practically everybody on that team is giving key to this guy, so, I mean, it's kind of not that big of a deal. Although, right, looking kind of at the stat buffs he's getting here, him getting the final blow isn't going to be that big of a deal. It's probably going to be pretty easy, unless you're in one of those single boss fights, right, where there are no extra phases. So very, very interesting on what he's doing. On his rage mode, they did change it only slightly. He's now greatly raising his attack on the 12 key of the rage mode and massively raising the attack on the 18 key. On his passive, he's now getting key 6, which will make it easier to get that 18 key. He gets an additional key 2 per key sphere obtained, and super effective against all types. Basically, just making that rage mode all that more powerful. And remember, him having a rage mode really, really helps out Zamasa's team. Rage mode acts as a giant form, right? So you'll get a turn of attacks, and then boom, you've now canceled the super attack effect. So him having this ability is really, really good. On top of which, if you manage to get the KO mechanic from it, I think it does carry over, right? So it'll add to that key 6 that you're getting. So I wanted to take a minute and kind of preemptively go over what the stats mean. Again, this is all on paper, and in-game performance could very, very much change that. And I think we need to kind of understand what he's doing calculation-wise in order to understand kind of what to expect from him going into the phase. Because we all saw what happened with INT Goku Black, a character who isn't that bad, but because of the current event available list, where people aren't really looking at what he's doing, right? They're only focused on what he can't do. So let's just go ahead and look at what exactly this guy can do. So shout out to Halvard here for the calculations for the LR EZA. He got these up right away, and I'm so happy he did, because this really helps kind of with what I want to talk about with this LR EZA, right? So I've already seen a bunch of people talking, oh, well, he's just stats. And yes, that's true. But his stats are more than good enough for what he's designed to do, right? This guy, I can tell you right now, his attack is going to be through the roof. It already was before. Combine that with EZA stats and the increase in stats that comes with those extra percentages he's getting in his passive. We're talking about a character that is easily breaking 9 to 10 million on his first super with minimal key support. You get this guy fully built up, we're talking about a guy that is hitting 14 or 15 million, which is, we're talking about a very powerful attack. Now, unfortunately, where I'm already starting to see people talk about is his defense. So let's assume worst possible scenario, right? You don't go, you don't get the full key. You don't get the final blow mechanic. Worst possible scenario, he's starting with a start of turn defense of just under 200k, and makes sense, right? He didn't have any good start of turn defense to begin with. He was glass cannon. He didn't have guard. He didn't have damage reduction. Makes sense that this is where he's at post EZA. They just took what he was already doing and upped it a whole bunch, right? However, he's got additional chances to super, which means combined with hidden potential, he's now got even more chances to super, right? So let's assume best possible scenario. If he gets if he only gets the 12 key, we're talking 500k defense. That will tank most normal attacks in the game. In fact, it'll take all normal attacks in the game. I don't think there's a single boss that deals more than 500k on a normal. If he gets his 18 key, he's now got 600k defense, which is really, really big, right? That is definitely tanking all normals and most supers. In fact, there's only a few supers that are going to deal more than 200k to them, and we'll talk about those in a second. Now, with his additional chance, if you get the post 18 key, we're talking 900k defense, which will tank just about every super, barring type disadvantage. On his 18 key, if you get the double AA, because you have in additionals invested in him, we're talking about 1.1 million, which tanks every super except for the new red zones and metal cooler core, which makes sense because he's type disadvantage. Although he will survive the super, let me point that out. As long as it's not pre-super attack, obviously, he will survive the metal cooler core super. I think it'll deal like, right, metal cooler, like if we pull up metal cooler core, right, his super 1.5 million. On Zamas's team, he is surviving this super because your HP is through the roof and there's a ton of healing. But right on his if Zamas supers him, I think we're talking 1.65 million, right? Let me do the math here. 1500 times 1.25 for type effective. Okay, so maybe he doesn't survive metal cooler. I just did it, so it comes out to 1.8. So okay, he doesn't survive metal cooler core on a double. But again, that's without support. You're probably running this guy with support, which on Zamas' team there's a ton of. So he's probably getting down here with the 40% support. So start of turn, he's looking at 200k. And again, this assumes your max key meter, and we're talking about a 1.4, in which case he survives the metal cooler core for 400k. So that's honestly, that's pretty good, if you ask me. And again, that assumes you get the good RNG and you get the double AA. So honestly, that's not too bad, right? When we break down the bosses, right, we talk about Broly. Broly does 1.2, all right? With 1.2, there's no, barring the AoE phase, right, which is, AoEs are going to be a problem for him because he has no start of turn defense, right? So barring the AoE phase, post super, right, because you're not putting this guy in slot 1, he's tanking with support, he is tanking Broly's super. Even without support, right? He's tanking Broly's super at 1.2. Unless you have the 40% and double super, he's not tanking Metal Cooler Core, but he is surviving, right? If we talk about the Trunks, he's definitely not tanking the Trunks. I just put that out there. He's not tanking Trunks' super, okay? Let's get that out of the way. So be aware of that. He'll be fine on the normals, just barely. He'll still take about 100k or so. Well, actually, no. If he gets the double super, he'll be fine on the normals. It's just that first turn he might struggle without the full key support. Zamasu, he's fine because he's got the reduction and guard for being type advantage. Vegito, he is tanking Vegito if you are on the 40% support, right? He's tanking Vegito supers, which is good as long as he doesn't raise his attack. Sen Shenron, 1.3. AA, he is tanking Sen Shenron super. He'll struggle a little bit with the AoE, so make sure you plan accordingly. But basically, every boss, barring the Metal Cooler Core, he's doing just fine, and he's not taking damage from normals. It's just the supers, really, you gotta worry about. The only exception, obviously, here is the Red Zone Zamasu, which deals 1.25 on his super in the first phase and 500k on his AoE. So, you know, you gotta worry there a bit if the AoE ends up being before he super attacks, but that's a given, right? We've gone over this video after video. That's kind of just how Zamasu is. He's not good for a lot of units, but I don't think that we should hold that against this guy. Looking at the stats here, I'm seeing a lot that I like. I'm seeing some pretty good stuff. And again, this assumes you've got his main links active, which you're gonna get on Zamasu's team very, very easily. You've got him linked with LR Goku, the tech LR Goku Black and Rose, which is pretty much his best partner, who do pretty well in most of these events, honestly, if you give them the opportunity to build up. You could also link them with the TUR and get most of these similar links, except for Legendary Power. You could link them with Tech Zamasu or AGL Zamasu and get most of these links as well. You're still going to get Dismal Future, you're still going to get Big Bad Bosses, you're still going to get Fierce Battle, right? So it'll work out. Legendary Power if he's linked with the Tech Zamasu. So honestly, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a powerhouse of a unit. May have to worry a little bit defensively, but I'm not seeing too much that stands out as like, oh my god, this is a unit we need to watch out for. I'm liking what I'm seeing. So, anyways, guys, this is the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, what are your thoughts on LR Goku Black Rose's EZA? Is he looking good to you? To me, I like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of power coming out of this guy. This guy's going to have no problem finishing off whatever enemy is in front of him, especially after that triple super. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.